Of course, we hated to see him leave because he was such an integral part of the show that, to suddenly have him removed from it left a big hole in the group. In my 50 years in Hollywood, I have never hated anyone as much as him. He was the most terrible man in Gunsmoke. Even after airing for decades, Gunsmoke still hides dark behind-the-scenes secrets that can make today's fans shiver when they hear them. James Arness, the man who became Matt Dillon, the untouchable icon of the Wild West, was known for being so distant and intimidating that no one on set dared to anger him. And yet, there were still those who drove him mad, people he endured day after day through clenched teeth. There were those who once forced Arness to bow his head, swallow his pride, and hold on to the role he had devoted his life to. Others dared to challenge his spotlight, pushing him back as if he were nothing more than a faint shadow behind them. But the thing that chills people the most was a female co-star Arness swore he would never kiss. Not because he was shy, not because of the script, but because deep inside, he felt a horrifying sense of revulsion every time he had to stand beside her. Way 1, Amanda Blake. When jealousy ignites a fiery rift. In 1955, when Gunsmoke transitioned from radio to television, James Arness and Amanda Blake quickly became a brother-sister pair on the Dodge City set. Arness, the 6-foot Marine veteran, reserved and taciturn, would quietly carry a chair for Amanda during long shoots under the harsh California sun. Amanda, on the other hand, was often the first to tease him whenever he clumsily dropped a fake Colt. She called him Big Jim, and he called her Red for her fiery hair. They shared lunch in a quiet corner behind the Long Branch Saloon, talked about family, Amanda's first divorce, and nights when Arness suffered sleeplessly from war nightmares. Amanda once said in an old interview, "Without Jim, I would have quit by the second season. He was the only one who made me feel protected among those rough men." By the mid-1960s, the friendship was still strong, but cracks began to appear silently. Amanda grew increasingly frustrated that Kitty was always just Matt Dillon's unofficial girlfriend. She repeatedly suggested that the producers allow a real kiss, or at least an episode where Matt proposes, but they refused, saying, "The audience doesn't want the Marshal married." Arness, as the show's star and a friend of producer Charles Marquis Warren, stayed silent. Amanda would sit in the makeup chair all day without receiving a line. When the clock struck late afternoon, she would stand, remove her costume, and declare she was leaving. No explanation, only anger burning like fire inside. James Arness, the colleague everyone thought was reliable, simply watched her and said tersely, "There's no reason for you to stay." Those words didn't calm Blake's anger. They poured fuel onto it, spreading tension across the set. Amanda perceived that silence as betrayal. She began arriving late to shoots, citing health issues, while Arness gradually avoided shared lunches. In 1967, after being cut from another crucial scene, she stormed into Arness's trailer, crying, "You could just say one word to them, Jim. You're Matt Dillon." Arness quietly replied, "Amanda, I don't want to lose my job, and I think the series is fine." The peak came in season 19. Amanda demanded a raise and a completely new wardrobe for Kitty, something she had endured nearly 20 years without. New producer John Mantley flatly refused, calling it unnecessary luxury. Amanda announced she would quit, expecting Arness to side with her as he had before. But this time, Arness chose to protect the series. In a private meeting with CBS, he said simply, "We can continue without Kitty." Amanda heard through someone else. She called Arness at midnight, said only one sentence before hanging up. "Thank you for protecting me for 19 years, Big Jim." They never looked at each other again. When Amanda officially left in 1974, Arness neither attended nor sent a card. The tension extended beyond words and attitudes. Blake once brought her pet lion Chemo to the set as a statement of independence and individuality. But Chemo became agitated whenever Arness appeared, growling loudly and disrupting filming. The crew had to intervene, imposing extraordinary restrictions on a pet that symbolized power, personality, and the unspoken conflicts between two strong-willed people. Because of this animosity, James Arness reportedly never kissed Amanda Blake on screen. On set, their interactions were always tense, with cold stares and deliberate physical distance. Some witnesses revealed that Arness refused to film romantic scenes with Blake, not because Matt Dillon was busy enforcing law in Dodge City, but because he genuinely did not want intimate contact with her. Whenever a kiss was mentioned, Arness would stiffen, eyes flashing with disdain, and declare, "This scene isn't necessary." In 1987, when they reunited for Gunsmoke, returned to Dodge, old emotions surged. A single on-camera hug was not just a reunion of Dylan and Kitty, but acknowledgement of all the tension, conflict, and distance they had endured. It was the tragedy of two strong individuals, unable to fully be together, yet unable to separate, a game of power, emotion, and personal pride stretching over many years. When Amanda passed away from cancer in 1989, Arness quietly sent flowers, but did not attend the funeral. In his 2001 autobiography, he wrote only one line about her. "Amanda was an irreplaceable part of Gunsmoke and of my life for 20 years. People say that was Big Jim's only belated apology to Red. If Amanda Blake and James could have reconciled with John Wayne, it was a different story entirely. 2. John Wayne, a broken bond that could never heal. John Wayne, the screen legend, had opened the door for Arness, yet their relationship was never complete, always charged with a subtle tension, like two stars colliding in the wild sky. In 1951, Wayne saw the 6-foot-tall young man standing awkwardly in the doorway like a misplaced pine tree. "You're too tall, Jim," Wayne sneered. "Hollywood doesn't like men making others look short." James Arness blushed, fearing he would be fired. But 3 days later, Wayne called. "Come star in Big Jim McClane with me. I need a big guy to punch communists in the lineup." That was Arness's first experience of the Duke's handshake, strong enough to crack bones, yet surprisingly warm. They quickly became Hollywood's oddest pair of friends. Every Friday night, they sat at the Brown Derby bar, Wayne recounting being scolded by Howard Hawks on Red River, Arness sharing nightmares from World War II that woke him screaming for his squad. Wayne slid his third whiskey toward him. "Drink, kid. I got you the Matt Dillon role on Gunsmoke. CBS is begging me to recommend someone. Don't say no. Got it?" Arness shook his head nervously. "TV. I'll be buried alive, coach." Wayne roared, "I said do it." Arness knew Wayne held power, but he had his own backbone, which often created unexpected gaps in a relationship that everyone assumed was close. In 1955, Gunsmoke premiered. The first episode opened with John Wayne's gravelly voice. "This is a story about a man I am proud to call my friend." Millions of Americans didn't know Wayne had pressured CBS to sign a 7-year contract with Arness, despite initially wanting a smaller, more controllable star. On set, tensions simmered. Wayne, a cinema man who looked down on television, couldn't hide his suspicion of Arness's dedication to Gunsmoke. Wayne saw the world through the lens of grandeur, cowboy legends, while Arness entered the TV world. Quick success, but full of risk. Every time Arness stepped onto the set, Wayne showed subtle irritation, as if witnessing a choice he had never allowed for himself. But Arness never stayed idle. Tall, strong, he knew he had to prove himself. Working with Wayne on films like Hondo or Island in the Sky, Arness felt Wayne's scrutinizing gaze and sharp, low voice testing his limits. Was he truly worthy, or just a young cowboy praised too soon? The day Wayne wanted Arness to play General Sam Houston in the Alamo was another defining moment. Wayne summoned him to the office, eyes stern, voice commanding, a big opportunity, a career milestone. But Arness, for personal reasons, did not go. No call, no explanation. Wayne stood there, silent, face showing frustration and disappointment. The missed appointment wasn't just unprofessional, it struck Wayne's pride, making their bond shift from respect to fragility, like a taut bowstring snapping. Years later, people would see Arness sitting alone at the old bar, ordering the same whiskey Wayne once drank, staring into space. Asked about John Wayne, he said simply, "Horse. I hurt him once, and he never forgave me. I didn't dare ask." Their relationship was like a tense chess game, every move calculated. Arness sometimes avoided important meetings, occasionally defied Wayne's orders quietly, but always maintained respect. Wayne, master of countless classic films, could be angry, but he knew Arness was a worthy counterpart in his career, not to be underestimated. This battle of wits created a layer of untold stories the public would never fully see. How do you feel about Arness's relationship with the icon John Wayne? Share your thoughts in the comments below. But besides Wayne, there was one person Arness despised from day one: Milburn Stone. 2. Milburn Stone, immediate dislike from day one.